Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to DC Fans United. Today I am continuing my series of reviews by taking a look back at Countdown number 34. But first off, I have a quick shout out for my friends over at OutrightGeekery.com. It's a cool geek website, and I'll have a link for them in the description box. Countdown is known as Countdown to Final Crisis for its last 24 issues. Since this is Countdown, the story order for the numbering is backwards, so that you start with issue number 51 and read down to issue number 1. As such, be sure to watch the previous videos with a link in the description box or by clicking on the video tab. So issue 34 is written by Paul Dini with Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti. Keith Giffen did the breakdowns, Jesus Says did the pencils, Jimmy Palmiotti did the inks, and the colors are by Tom Chu. The cover is by Talent Caldwell and J.D. Smith. Starting off on the cover, I think it's pretty cool. I like it. It's dynamic, and Batman looks awesome. He's chasing the two rogues who've been on the run for most of this comic series. Now, this doesn't actually happen in the comic, although Batman does come across these two. So we'll start off on the first page, and we see the two rogues from the cover there. It's Piper and Trickster. So they've been hung there by Poison Ivy. They're all tied up by vines. So her and Deathstroke had basically captured them in the last issue. So Batman finds them hanging there, and they had been hung there for him to find, so he's hoisting them and pulling them in, and then all of a sudden we see that, they're gone because the Flash has them. And that's bad news for them, because this is Wally West, but these two were there when Barry Allen was killed by the other rogues, so everyone thinks these two helped kill him. So that's bad for them. So then it changes scenes, and Jimmy Olsen's here. He's actually with John Henry Irons, who is Steel, and Steel has this cool technology to kind of like read people's minds and figure out what kind of powers they have. So he's going to try it out on Jimmy Olsen, and then we go to the next page, and we're back to the Flash, and he's essentially interrogating the rogues, and they're telling him that they were working undercover and everything, and he's just not believing them. So then we go to the next scene, and so in the last issue, this evil queen lady had captured Donna Troy and Jason Todd and Ryan Choi, who was the Atom at this time, and she has one of the monitors under her control. So they try and get out, and they have a little bit of a success because they fight the bugs, who are her soldiers, and they beat them down, and it looks like they're going to win. And it's going back and forth, and they are going to win. So the evil queen lady, who's named Belthera, opens a portal, and she's going to retreat with her troops through it, but Donna Troy punches her, and she falls through, and while she's falling, she grabs Donna. So they've both gone through. So that's kind of crazy. And we go to the next page, and in the last comic, Harley Quinn and Catwoman had been put into this arena by the Amazons, and they fought with a whole bunch of other women, and they're the last two standing. So they fight to essentially a draw, and Athena, who is watching them, tells them that they've succeeded and that they and some other women are going to go to Paradise Island. So then it changes scenes again, and Mary Marvel had been kicked out of Shadowcrest by Zatanna in the last issue, so she's looking for help from someone else, and she ends up in this market in China. And this place is pretty interesting because it's shielded by magic, so only people who use magic can find it. It's kind of like a bazaar for magicians. So it's pretty neat, like you see giants walking around in the background and different mythological creatures. But she meets this guy, and he says, "My name is Clarion," and he's a witch boy. So she starts talking to him, and then like he's saying that you could barter for magic and stuff here, and she says, "What could I possibly barter with?" And he says, "You'd be surprised what passes for currency around here." And you see he puts this kind of like spell around her, so it looks like she's captured. And then it changes scenes again. So Karate Kid has this illness, and he's been looking for someone who can help him with a cure. So he went and talked to this guy, and this guy told him to go talk to Buddy Blank, and apparently that was orchestrated by Desaad, who's Darkseid's minion. So that's bad news for Karate Kid and Triplicate Girl. And then we're back to Jimmy Olsen who's with Steel. And this is a really crazy scene because Jimmy's head's like bulging out. It looks ridiculous. I don't know how that could happen, except he has superpowers, I guess. So anyways, they don't really know what's happening other than things are going wrong, so the machine breaks down. And Jimmy Olsen is still alive, so now Steel believes that he has superpowers. So Jimmy finally has someone who believes he has superpowers. And we're back to Wally West, and he's beaten up on the two rogues still, which is bad news for Trickster here because he gets punched in the nose and he says, "First Batwoman, then Deathstroke, and now you? My nose is already broken." So that's just where the comic book ends. You see here, Wally West says, "You killed Bart, and you deserve to die." So that looks bad for those two, but knowing Wally West, we can assume he won't kill them, although we have to wait until the next issue to know for sure. So at the end here, there's a little bonus. It's called The Origin of Lex Luthor. It's 2 pages where it talks about Lex Luthor, gives you a little bit of a backstory, and more importantly, to this story, it talks a little bit about Steel here, so that's pretty cool. Alright, that's all for Countdown issue 34. I'll be looking at issue 33 next time. Expect some other reviews in the meantime. Before that, though, I like to change it up a little bit, and if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. If you don't get notifications for my videos, be sure to hit the bell for notifications so you know right when I put up a video so you don't miss anything. Alright, that's all for now, and as always, thanks for watching and being a part of DC Fans United.
End of line.